Okay, story time about how this trucker company had me fucked up. So, I'm not gonna say the name, but so the company that I work for, they basically kind of ran off of, I think they had like a minimum amount of miles that you would need to get for a week or whatever. So I knew it was going to be a problem when when they switched my fleet managers without my knowledge. They just put me on his board because he was new. And somebody wrote on my tablet like, oh, why are you late to this appointment? And I'm like, who the fuck is that? So I just ignored it because it's like, I don't even know who this is. Like, the name didn't look familiar. So, but once I learned that was my new fleet manager, I knew he would be a fucking problem. Because if you pay to like, because those people that like to ask questions but don't do their research, yeah. But if you would have been paying attention, you would have seen that I just was at this other place for so and so hours, so that's why I was late. But that's not why we're here. It's just a little backstory. So one day he calls me and is like, hey, your miles for the month haven't been your miles for the, I think it's per month. Your miles for the month haven't been this, that, and the third, and it kind of hasn't been that since you started. So I'm gonna need for you to try to make some of that up. Now, mind you, I think I had like RSV, a respiratory infection, so I got sick. So I probably was out probably a few weeks before that. So I'm like, at first I was like, yeah, because I didn't think. So I was like, yeah. Then I started thinking like, even if, okay, you want me to run over the weekend, mind you, this is home weekly. You want me to run over the weekend and keep going or whatever. Like, they were trying to send me all the way out to Texas, which is cool, but no, at the same time, because of the simple fact that even if I do run, I'm still not going to make those miles up. So try again next month because it's not my fault. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a part two. I'm gonna do a part two because this is already 2 minutes. Okay, part two of how they had me fucked up, this truck company. So I started thinking about it, and plus I really wasn't, like, I literally was not in a good mental space at that time. So I agree, but then I was like, you know what, I take that back, but it was like, no, because if you start this now, they're going to start pulling shit on you every time and thinking you're going to go for it. So I tell them like, no, I need to be home because blah blah blah. Like, the reasons that I gave them, they didn't give a fuck about. So then I really stopped giving a fuck about them and their fucking load. So he tries to like call me again to convince me like, hey, I need you to do this. I'm getting loaded, I'm sorry. I need you to do this, da 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 da. You know how, if you know, you know, they were trying to make it seem like there's literally nobody else to be able to do it and blah blah blah. So I stood on business. I was like, no. It's like, especially after I just told you like what I had going on and you didn't care. All you care about is, okay, we need this load. And so what he does, once I tell him no, he says okay and he hangs up. So then I get another call from his boss. Like, me and him exchanged words, but it wasn't as bad. So I get another call from his boss. So his boss is basically like, oh, we need you to do this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna tell you like I told him. I said no, and I said my reasons for saying no. End of story. Like, this is not forced dispatch, this company. So they were trying me and I knew that. So I'm like trying to understand. They try to bring up the miles again. So I was like, well, so anytime I'm sick, I would have to run nonstop the rest of the month to make up for that time. That doesn't even make sense, because they were like saying anything just to try to convince me. But then they tried me the most and they thought that was going to work, and they tried to intimidate me, and I'm gonna leave that for part 3. Okay, part 3 of this truck company having me fucked up. So The other boss, his boss, my fleet manager's boss, tries to convince me. He's trying to do it nice, but then he sees that I'm not budging, and he's like, oh, you're really fucking us. Basically, I'm fucking them over by saying no, and I've already told you my reasons. And I told him, like, me and him kind of really got into it. I was like, look, let me tell you something. If I'm telling you what's going on with me in my mental state, it is not safe to be on the road in that state. And in this state of mind, and I'm telling you this now. And you don't seem to care, because all you seem to care about is your load and where it's going and getting it there. He's like, how is that a safety issue? I said it is. Do you want me to talk to safety and see what they have to say about it? So he's going back and forth, and he really pissed me off. He said I was fucking them. Like, yes, he didn't cuss directly at me, but it sounded like it. And then he has the nerve to try to, oh, well, if you don't take this load, we're going to just get you a load back and you can turn your truck in. Bad. Because you tried to intimidate me into taking it anyway. 2, you tried to strong arm me. Then you cursed at me. Like, I don't care what way you said it in. Don't curse at me, because I'm not cursing at you. So I might have cursed back. I don't remember, because I was really, 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 really mad. And 3, like, I already know, like, I'm not new. So I know, like, if you let these people, they will run all over you and have you in situations, and they will talk to you crazy, and you have sorry, and you have to stand up for yourself, period. So I was like, nope, because if I do this, they're going to try me every time and think they can get away with it. No, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I was wrong, because who are you talking to like that? And if you're trying to get somebody to do something for you, that's not the way to do it. You got me fucked up. So what I did was, guess what? They got me a load back, and I turned the truck in. And it was a lot of other stuff going on. I was on the phone with people. They're pissed. Anyway, that's another fucking story for another day. But it was like, okay, I did what I had to do. I tried to go over his head, but you know, stick together. So they called me back, and they were basically like, well, it's your word against his. He said he didn't curse at you. He said he didn't say this, that, and the third to you. So there's nothing that I can do about it. Which is a lie, because I know for a fact that places like that, their calls are monitored and recorded. But they were on each other's side. So they basically were like, oh, well, since you took that load, bringing it back up here, then we're mutually deciding to part ways. Like, I went and tried to talk to HR and go over his head, but of course, whoever it was that he knew there, like, they took his side. So I didn't care, because of the simple fact that you're not talking to me any kind of way. You're not going to force me to do anything. And me telling you what I have going on and you not giving a fuck, let me know that you don't care what your drivers got going on unless their load gets there. And then it pissed me off, because it's like, you mean to tell me that if I'm sick, because it, and then, oh, he kind of admitted that the reason why he needed me to get that, like, the reason why he needed me to get those miles, because they basically get a bonus. So that's what he let me know. They basically get a bonus if you hit that miles every time. But what I told him, somebody was calling me. But basically what I told him was like, excuse me? That don't have nothing to do with me. For one, for the past few months, I was only there for a few months. But for the past few months, I've only been doing the loads that have been given to me. So the fact that the loads that have been given to me have not reached that mark is not my fault, because I haven't been booking my loads. So what does that have to do with me? And I told him, I said, so anytime, and they never answered this question. I was like, so anytime I'm sick, I have to run to try to make up those miles for the end of the month? No. Because I asked him, I said, well, where in the handbook does it say that if you miss days that you have to make them up just to get the mileage? Or if I like in the future, if I take, because I've worked with trucking companies that, okay, if you, that's not like that, but it's not even based off anything, you just make what you make. But so you mean to tell me, like, if I have a vacation or if I get sick again or blah blah blah, I'm gonna have to run every weekend like I'm OTR for the rest of the month to make up that so you can get your bonus? Sure. And that's how they had me fucked up. And I was in Charlotte, I was living in Columbia at the time, so so I gotta do another part. Okay, I'm gonna try to make it quick because the other one was 5 minutes. But so the terminal that I worked out was like in another city, but they had another terminal closer to me. But that was the terminal that that man was out of. So what they did was, I think I lost my badge or something. So he was trying to play me. Like, not only are you acting like this, but now you're trying to play me. So I don't know what happened to my badge. So I needed another badge because, okay, I got there late, so I was going to get there late, so I couldn't stay the night there without I needed to get in to be able to take a shower or whatnot. So he was trying to play me. He was like, well, we don't have anything in here to make badges because this isn't a terminal that does orientation. And I told him, I said, well, my other fleet manager before they switched me to him, I said, well, he made me one specifically for this terminal at this terminal, so I know you have them. And he couldn't say nothing. I bet you that key card was waiting for me in the mailbox. But it's a simple fact that you tried that. And I think he was young at that. That's the part that pissed me off. Like, why are you such a asshole? I knew I was going to have trouble from him from the beginning, but one thing you're not going to do is talk to me like you crazy at all. Like, you're going to try to intimidate me into doing something. That's not going to happen. Now I don't care what you say. Like, I was trying to get to the point, I was at least trying to, you know, at least switch people or switch back to the person that I had. But the person at HR agreed with him and took his side. Didn't really even listen to me, so I was just wasting my time. So I felt like, well, shoot, the people in HR, they're agreeing with him, so let's go. Like, it's because for one thing's for certain, like, there is multiple truck driving jobs out here. You're not the only one, and I don't even want to be under nobody or drive for nobody that's going to talk to me like that, first of all. Second of all, there's plenty of jobs out here, so you're not going to talk to me and I have to sit up here and take it like it's something. Like, I could, okay, in a situation where maybe it's harder for you to find another trucking job because there's something on your record, that's different. But you're not going to talk to me like that. You have me fucked up. Like, hell no. Like, I was already not in the best mental state, so I was going to fuck off all day. Like, I got so mad that day that I just had to be quiet because everything was pissing me off. Like, my blood was boiling, and I was like, that's not good. If I still had a long drive to go, but I made it. And I left them, and I went through I didn't drive for a little bit, but as you can see, I came back. But like, I was doing little applications here and there, but it was just a lot because they had me fucked up so bad. And one thing, like, if you would have caught me maybe a few years ago, if that, but if you would have caught me maybe a few years ago, maybe they would have gotten me. They would have intimidated, not even a few years, a long time ago. Or the old me, whatever. They probably could have intimidated me into doing that. But no. Moral of the story, don't let these people talk to you crazy. Don't let these people try to treat you like shit, because guess what? If something happens to you, guess what? You're gone, and they got somebody else in your place. So take care of you and take care of yourself, and don't let these people talk to you crazy and treat you any kind of way, even if you're new. Because I'm not new, but even if you're new, don't let these people get over on you. Don't let them talk to you crazy. Put them in their place the first time, because if not, they're going to keep ice skating. And that's what I've learned. And I ain't gonna lie, I was going back to back because most trucking companies, you can get into it with the people, but they're not going to be like, oh, well, turn your truck in. But they had the fucking balls and the nerve. Ooh. But anyways, moral story, I'm glad I left there. Because, yeah, I would never work for nobody that talked to me like that. Ever. And even some companies that people talk shit about, nobody has ever talked to me like that before. And they won't. Anyway, moral of the story is, don't let them have you fucked up. Don't let them intimidate you. And I feel like if I wasn't a woman, they would not be talking to me like that. Or, yeah. So, moral of the story, don't let them people talk to you crazy. Don't let them intimidate you into anything. Put you first. And have a motherfucking good day. Bye. Knowing me, I probably missed the parts, but it is what it is. That's just that's most of it. Oh, and I did forget a part. So I ended up getting home because I ended up taking an Uber because I was living in Columbia at the time, and they were in Charlotte, so that's like an hour. So the Uber cost like $100 almost. But they were only giving that lady $50, so I'm glad it was a lady. She was like, look, do you want to just cancel this ride and just give me the money and I'll take you? I was like, okay, fine. So the man, he claimed that he was going to reimburse me, which I felt like he was bullshitting, just like how he just tried to bullshit me about just like he tried to bullshit me about the badge. So I was about to charge it to the game. But then I thought about it a week later. I was like, oh, hell no. And I got my money back. Yep. But anyway, that's it.